everybody, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. My name is Whitney and I hope you're all doing very well. Today I'm bringing you another speed build, and this one is of course of my Asylum for the Asylum challenge. However, before we jump into this video, I just wanted to add a quick disclaimer in here, as it was always my intention to address this topic alongside this challenge. This challenge, being the Asylum challenge that this build you are watching is for, is not based on any real life scenario or depictions of mental health or real life institutions or rehabilitation facilities in the modern day. It's based more on sensationalized stereotypes of fictional facilities like that in modern day horror films, such as popular series like American Horror Story or things along that sort of narrative. I just want it to be known that I do not intend to cause harm or make light of any situations towards mental health in any which way, whether it's treatment, conditions, illnesses, anything like that. That is 100% not my intention. The purposes of this series is not to degrade or disrespect anyone who is going through a tough time or struggle or has had any interactions with any sort of mental health treatment or anything in life. That is not my intention whatsoever. This challenge is meant for entertainment purposes only, and I hope to be able to bring a little bit of light and humour and entertainment into the days of people who watch this series, either as it's going up or maybe in the future if people are finding it outside of 2020. But yeah, it's purposely for entertainment and not for any sort of depiction of mental health in real life, and I just really wanted to get that message just out straight away before we even really jump into the actual challenge itself. So I'm sorry to kind of start this on such a heavy note, but I really wanted to get that said, and so people know. And if you are struggling with mental health, please know you're not alone. Please reach out, please find support, please speak about it, lighten the load. We see you and I love you, and I'll have loads and loads of links in the description about support systems and ways to educate yourself as well, if you would just like to educate yourself on mental health situations. But anyways, welcome to the video, everybody. I'm sorry to start that out on such a heavy note, but it was needed, and it's something I've really wanted to address anyways since I started bringing some attention to this challenge, because it has become noticeable to me, but a lot of people haven't actually seen this challenge before, which is surprising for me. For me, this challenge is one that brought me to YouTube to find Sims content. I wasn't aware that Simmers made content on YouTube. I used to watch a lot of gaming content, and then one day I stumbled across the glorious queen that is Molly, aka the English Simmer, and I fell in love with her challenges, and the Asylum challenge and her Runaway Teen challenge were the two first Sims YouTube content ever that I ever watched, which, you know, may be possibly why that's what I'm doing on my challenge, or my channel too. But anyways, let's get into what the Asylum challenge is. Obviously in this video, I don't think I've said it, we're building the Asylum, everybody. So this is the Asylum that I have built, that I am building right now as you see it for our challenge. I just kind of did it using very few reference pictures and did it using my own imagination, and I'm really happy with how it came out. At first I tried these two kind of like, I don't know what do you call them, like the big pillar things at the side of the door, I don't know what you call them, but at first I did them like this octagonal shape, and when I put the roofs on them it just looked a little bit too churchy and a little bit too religiously inclined, and that's not the vibe I wanted, so I do change it to make it more square so it looks just a little bit more gothic. I was definitely going for gothic vibes with this. A lot of like medieval architecture. I love medieval architecture. My experience with this is when I was, so this is complete tangent, I was going to talk about the rules, but now we're talking about me going on holiday with my grandparents. When I was younger, we used to go on holiday to Spain a lot with my grandparents, and my nan and my granddad actually at the time, they loved going to Spain. They only ever went to Spain and they love Spain. My nan still loves Spain, and there's some really amazing architecture in Spain anyways, but there's a lot of really beautiful gothic architecture. There's like gothic streets and everything, and we used to go and I used to love it and used to be so inspired by great big gothic structures. So this is kind of what I was going for. I don't think I succeeded, but it does look good, so I am happy with it. Anyways, I'm actually going to talk about the challenge now. I promise I'm actually going to talk about the challenge now. Anyways, the Asylum challenge, everybody. If you don't know anything about it, that's absolutely fine. Again, in the description, I'm going to have the links to the rules, so if you want to read it yourself, then please do go and read it. I do believe it was a challenge that was originally made for The Sims 3 and then adapted for The Sims 4, and it is up to date, so it's adapted and modified for every single expansion pack that has come out since The Sims 4 release, so it is up to date and does consider everything. But I'm just going to do a brief overview. So the Asylum challenge in a a brief description in a nutshell is that your sim has been put into the asylum with 7 other sims. All of these 7 other sims have to be young adults, and they also have to have the erratic trait, and you cannot control them at all. You're not even really allowed to click on them. The only time you're allowed to click on them, I think, is when they're sleeping, and you're allowed to check their inventory, but you're not allowed to control them. They have to be completely autonomous, which makes for some very interesting gameplay sometimes. It depends if the Sims 4 likes to play ball, because we all know that she can be a little bit boring, but when you throw 7-8 Sims together in a house that has limited facilities, it can get quite interesting. But yes, so we're playing on medium mode. So this challenge does have 3 modes. It has easy, medium, and hard mode. I'm going for, you know, middle of the park. We're going medium mode. Easy, I want to struggle, you know? I want to struggle. I want it to be difficult. I want to get stressed. I want to have a meltdown. It's what everyone wants to see, so it's what I'm going to give you. We're going medium mode. So let me just list off things. I've got some very messily written notes next to my microphone here, so let me attempt to read them to you. So we go medium mode. Again, I've said that about 10 times now, but we have to start with only 500 simoleons. So I think on easy mode you can start with 1,000. We're starting with 500, and that is it. That's it. We're also going to have bills and stuff that come into play at some point, and we're only starting with 500 simoleons. And I mean, look at the size of this build. She's going to be expensive. 500 simoleons, not going to cut it. So we'll see how that bombshell goes down. But so we have 3 aspirations to complete. So the gist of the challenge is that you are in this asylum and you have completed the challenge, or you're released from the asylum, whatever way you want to think about it, once you have completed 3 aspirations. And they could be anything, I do believe. I haven't written that down, but I do believe they can be anything. But I think first I've chosen we're going to go for painter extraordinaire, because I think that's smart, because we're going to need money and we can get the painting aspiration done and make some money off the painting. So that kind of makes sense to me. But let me know if there's a specific aspiration you would like to see our sim do in the asylum. If there's something you would just really think would be fun in the asylum to do, let me know. Comments down below and we'll give it a good go. Maybe. So the third rule is that you are not allowed to have a TV and a computer at the same time in medium mode. So we'll have one or the other, but not both at the same time. You're only allowed 1 sink, toilet, shower, and or bathtub on the entire lot. So there is 1 bathroom, which has the sink, the toilet, and a shower in it. And that's it. There's no sink in the kitchen. There's not a second bathroom. That is just how it is. If they break, they break. If you walk into someone peeing, you walk into someone peeing. You're gonna be embarrassed. It's gonna be interesting. We're having no more than 5 bed spots on a lot. So bed spots means 1 single space to sleep. So a double bed is 2 bed spots, because 2 sims can sleep there. Regardless of whether you've got the right relationship to be able to sleep with a sim next to you, that counts as 2 bed spots. So I have put 5 single beds in this build, but if I, for whatever reason, wanted to put a double bed in at some point I have to delete 2 single beds and replace them with a double bed. So yeah, so obviously we've got 8 sims with only 5 places to sleep. We're also not allowed to manipulate anything, so we're not allowed to make it unfair. We're not allowed to lock a door with only access to my sim to be able to sleep. We're not allowed to kick sims out of beds in order for us to sleep. If we don't get a bed, you're not sleeping. That's just how it goes. We're allowed 6 seating areas total, so that includes sofas, that includes dining tables, that includes chairs at chess tables. That is just how it is. So I have got, when I get around to finishing it, I think it's got a 3-seater sofa and an armchair, and then what's that, 3, 4, and then I've got 2 chairs at a chess table, and that's it. There's nowhere else to sit. And also, if someone hasn't got a bed and they're trying to nap on the sofa, that means nobody's sitting there. You can't sit on someone while they're napping. That's rude. And we're not doing it. We're not waking anybody up that way. You're allowed 5 skill building objects, but it does specify that skill building objects does not include TVs, computers, stoves, books, and mirrors. So there is a mirror in the bathroom, and there's also a bookcase, and obviously a TV, but they do not count as a skill building item, so don't shout at me. I haven't done too many. I've counted, okay? There's not too many, it's fine. I have included, though, a stereo. And it doesn't say it's not included as a skill building item. It doesn't say anything about stereos in the rules of what I read. I don't think I missed anything, but let me know what you feel about that. I don't think it's violating any rules, because people just listen to it. And you can technically dance and learn to dance from it, but I don't know whether I'm fussed about that. But let me know if you think it's cheaty to have 5 skill building items and a radio as well. Let me know. I'm not really sure. Maybe we'll see how it goes, and if it's making things too easy by having it, we'll get rid of it. But I wasn't sure, but I've thrown one in there anyways. We're allowed 2 non-controllable sims are allowed to have jobs, but they must be in the criminal career. So if I am struggling for money and we've got bills and the electricity goes off and blah, 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 2 non-controllable sims, I'm allowed to make them get jobs, but they have to be in the criminal career. I'm allowed to get a job, but I haven't written down the rules on that. I haven't written down the rules on it. So I don't know what the rules on that are, but I know I am allowed to get a job if I so wish to. But that would be boring if my sim was like going to work for like 8 hours in a Sims day. Like, that would be really boring. So I don't think we're going to do that. But we're just going to struggle. I'd much rather struggle, to be honest. I'm not doing this challenge not to struggle. Let's be honest. If I'm doing this challenge, it's because I want to struggle. Anyways, I'm going to quickly talk about the build, actually, as well. I don't think there's another rule. Oh, I've written a few random rules. So they're allowed to have jobs in the criminal career. You're not allowed to have maids or pizza. So if it gets messy, you've got to clean it, like, or ignore it. But you're not allowed a maid. And if people aren't eating, you're not allowed to just order pizza, obviously. Oh, and if you travel to another lot, a community lot, or I don't know why you would go to somebody's home, but if you go to somebody's home, you're only allowed to go between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. And that is it. And everyone has to go with you as well. So you can't just like leave all your asylum friends at the asylum and then go somewhere else and be like, I'm done with you for now, you're annoying me. Nah, everyone's got to come with you. Yeah, anyways, to the build, I think that's all the rules done. But if I have missed anything, obviously if you're confused, ask questions, I'll try my best to answer you, but the links are in the description because I'm terrible at explaining things. Anyways, back to the build. Like I said, I was going for a really like gothic vibe and I really like it. I really based it as well originally, so I'm all over the place in this voiceover because I'm excited. So I'm really sorry if I'm not really making much sense. But so originally I was going to use the original Asylum that Molly, the English simmer, used in her Asylum challenge, but it is a bit old by now, and also it's lacking, like when that was built we didn't have a lot of the packs, and now we have, like I say, all the vampire stuff, which I use very heavily in this build. This is on the gallery as well, by the way. If you are wanting to do your own Asylum challenge, you can feel free to download my Asylum. I would actually really like that. I think it's just called The Asylum, but you can get it from my gallery page as well, which is just Whitney is Simming, capital W, capital I, capital S. There you go. But yeah, so I was going for like a really gothic vibe. I decided to build my own one so I could have all the new things and make it look vampy and cool. It is in Windenburg as well. One of the rules is that it has to be in like one of the base game worlds. I was going to put it in the vampire world, but decided to go against it because I don't think it's ever sunny in that world, and it's just not the vibes. It's not what I'm feeling, you know. It's going to be hard enough. I don't need it to be rainy and gross all the time. Gross. But yeah, so it looks really, really nice. I did this thing. It's not heavily landscaped, but it is quite landscaped. I use a lot of that tall grass that I'm placing now. I put these statues right in the front, and I just really love them. One of them is called like a founder statue, and I imagine that's what it is. Like, it's like whoever founded this, built it, whatever, started it. That's who I imagine that statue is. That's the statue on the right hand side of the front of the build. And then there's another one which is like a generic statue. I was like, yeah, that would do, make it even. But I tried to like kind of blend this into the world as much as I could. So like those, I don't know, they're obviously they're base game flowers, the ones with like the nice little purple flowers on the front. They're in the landscaping of the general world of this area, so I kind of pulled them around. And the inside, I've based it, like I say, off Molly's Asylum a little bit. So it's kind of like a similar layout, but it is obviously a completely new, different build. But it's got this really nice kind of open chandelier space as you go into the entranceway, and I just love it. I think it is probably a little bit based off my love for American Horror Story as well, because I'd be loving that sort of stuff. Anything a little bit dark, a little bit gritty, a little bit horror, a little bit spooky, I'm all over it. So yeah, I was probably subconsciously basing it a little bit on the American Horror Story one as well. But I wanted to avoid it looking clinical as well, because like I said in the disclaimer at the beginning of this, I don't want this to be able to reflect upon in any way, shape or form anything of real life mental health facilities, because that's just not the way these are anymore. This is fictional. This is based on stereotype, on very over-exaggerated negative stereotype that is mostly in fictional work, so I didn't want it to draw any sort of similarities or look clinical in any way. So I have kind of kept it vampy on the inside and very like traditional looking, I guess. So it's not like a big open layout either. Like I do the walls and everything downstairs in a bit. I do promise it's not like open like that. But the upstairs is all bedrooms. They're all exactly the same. I use beds and stuff that came with Get to Work because they looked a little bit impersonal and I liked that. Like not to go for a clinical vibe, but for like this is a no personal artifacts sort of vibe. So it's just the way that this place is built. So all the bedrooms just have I think it's a Get to Work bed and a Get to Work side table, the ones that have the little wheels on the bottom. I really like those, I don't know why. And then downstairs I use a lot of these like vampy archways. There's a lot of built like rooms downstairs that are like nothing rooms but make sense for the sort of building this is. So those, I'm creating like two, so that one there that I'm doing now, I think that's going to be a bathroom. Yeah, I'm about to furnish it. So that's the bathroom. That's the only bathroom. So the only bathroom is downstairs. I have sectioned off the shower, but you still have to go into the main bathroom to get to the shower. So I kind of wanted to make it not that everyone's going to be walking in each other showering all the time, but have it be a possibility. So you could be walking into the shower cubicle, but someone could be on the toilet and you could walk through that. So there's a chance for embarrassment still, but it's not like ridiculous. On the ground floor, I've also kind of done like two cloakrooms that are either side of the main doorway, in those little kind of like pillar points. So they're like cloakrooms. There's like just little shelves on the floor. I just don't want to over furnish. Also because I don't want them to get positive moodlets from it being nicely decorated either. So that's what those two rooms are. And then I've done a room to the side which has loads of lockers in it, which I imagine is like where you put your personal artifacts when you first come in. So like I'm in my own head, I imagine like the clothes people were wearing when they came in and like their own personal artifacts, anything like that. Like if it was modern day, like, which it's not, but if it was, it would be like mobile phones and everything would go in there. And then I've made a basement space with nothing in it. I just left it like this, but I just thought I might want it for gameplay, and then it's already built if I do want it for any reason, if story wants it or anything like that. If I decide I'm going to do something weird and I want a basement for it, I've built one. And ladders, you know, I had to use a ladder somewhere. I've also, in those pillars, so there you go, making the cloakrooms now. I'm sorry if this voiceover is actually awful, by the way. I do greatly apologise. Those pillars have ladders going all the way up to the rooftop as well, because there is another like almost attic space in the rooftop, with again is completely empty, but it's just there in case I want it. You know, I'm just giving myself the possibilities. I have given myself all the cheapest appliances as well. So we've got the cheapest fridge, the cheapest stove. I have been nice and given them a fire alarm because I can't be having them not automatically calling the fire brigade, because I know Sims are going to probably perish in fire and from extreme emotional states anyways, because it do be The Sims. But yeah, I want to give them a fighting chance, you know, and it's likely that if they make friends, maybe they will save each other. You never know. You absolutely never know. Also, we've been doing a little, I was going to say simathon, which is just 100% the wrong thing. I don't know why I was going to say that, but we've been doing like almost like a challenge thing. Not really a challenge, but a lot of you guys have been making Sims to go into this challenge as well, which I have loved engaging with the community in this way. I want to try and do this much more in the future. There's been a really nice amount of you that have really liked engaging with this and been really excited. So I'm excited to be able to put your Sims in this challenge, and it's going to be very exciting. I've already picked a few who are going in. I'm trying to keep a 50-50 girl to boy ratio as well, just to make sure it's still fun and exciting, you know. But thank you so much for making Sims for this challenge. Keep making Sims for this challenge as well, because if people do perish, I'm gonna need to replace them. So yeah, I think I'm just about wrapping up the speed build now as well. I'm just putting the items in. It doesn't take long to furnish because it's not really furnished, and it's just the limited items that are allowed. So it's mostly just the actual landscaping and the building, and everything else is just basic, I guess. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this up now. You're about to get some screenshots, I do believe, after I finish doing whatever it is I'm doing right now in the speed build, just faffing. And I will speak to you in the next video, okay? And that will be part 1 of the Asylum challenge. How exciting! See you later!